Welcome to my channel. Let's talk. Let's do talk. Let's talk about what's going on Weverse. There are people who are utilizing Weverse, putting pictures of black people who were lynched because they have a disagreement regarding a Korean group by the name of N hyphen. So we have white users of Weverse doing cyberbullying on Weverse of black people being lynched, for people to just go and attack a group of people because they have different ideologies. They should at least be suspended for a year because this is unacceptable. One member of the group that was caught making a racial slur, and this is what has caused the controversy. What needs to be understood, regardless of where you're from, is that certain racial words are not acceptable for use by other ethnic groups. Whether we love each other or not, they're just not acceptable. You just don't use those words towards people because it's derogatory and it has a history behind it that does not promote another ethnic group using it without it being offensive. Well, they're under a label hype entertainment, I believe, Be Lived or Hype Entertainment. So when you create international groups, it is the staff's responsibility to educate the talent on what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. Moving right along. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to mention is that Bill Cosby has been released from prison, and hopefully he come out and he contributes something great to black people. Keeping it simple for you, okay? The final topic that I would like to discuss and touch on is education and educating our children. The reason I want to touch on this is because too often you have people thinking that it is okay to send your children to these schools that have curriculum designed to make them become subservient and to view themselves as inferior. It's in there. It's all in there, and it's a design. It's in the books, and based on how the authors write the book, you can see that that's the frame, the point of view, the framework that's put in the book, and the point of view of the authors that write these texts. And what I'm saying is your child can learn. You can teach a child anything. Unless they have some kind of learning disability that impairs their ability to learn, a child can learn anything. I am not convinced of none of that. I am not convinced that teachers are not teaching. What I am convinced of is that the children have no interest in a curriculum that they cannot relate to. It has no relativity to their existence. It has very little role model. When they do this, outdated. How many times you going to teach a person about Harriet Tubman? Dr. Martin Luther King. There are other people out here that are doing things, that have done things. They don't even emphasize Malcolm X that much. Frederick Douglass. They do the narrative of Frederick Douglass, his personal narrative. There's more. There are other narratives. There are other aspects of people being indigenous people that needs to be learned. The stories need to be told. So what is my point for saying this is all of you parents having children must understand that reform is not the answer. Yes, I said it. Reform is not the answer. Educating your children by someone who cares about them, have their best interests, and provides relative information to them is what makes a child learn. Trust and believe me. Trust and believe me. Some people think it's voodoo that people do. No one is doing voodoo. Okay? You have to have what is relative to the child's life. And if it is not relative, and if you don't teach them from the viewpoint and their worldview and their learning capabilities, then you're going to lose them. Then they're going to get no murder. What is this? Disability, special ed, this, that. Okay? Hyper, this and all that, ADH and all of that. Look at the curriculum. Reforming it, they're not going to reform anything to suit black people. You are in a dominant society of whites. They expect you to comply with what they have there. They do. Create your own school. Have your own teachers. You have Dr. Umar Johnson. And I'm mentioning his name because he had an interest in creating a school for black boys. But we need to also create a school for black girls. And it needs to have security. You need to have a fallout shelter, a bomb shelter, because you normally know when black people start doing for themselves, they get bombed. Wall Street, an example, right? Black Wall Street. Greenwood, Rosewood, you have many examples. So just like a lot of people say, oh, we need reparations. Let me say this to you. Let me say very succinctly. You not only are entitled to reparation, you're entitled to restitution and restoration with the interest. And let's not forget that as indigenous people, from the north to the south to the central, we all are entitled, all of us of the Americas. All of us who also was forced here under duress around the globe by all these different countries, we are entitled. So I want to say this so that you can understand. If you think that your captors are going to actually succumb to this stuff here, you have another thing coming. Start creating what you need. Create it. Find teachers who are willing to teach your children what they need to learn. People who have a natural love for their own people and children and the future. We don't want anybody sitting up still talking about, in this day and age, with children being killed, adults being killed, male and females shot up everywhere, still talking that nonsense. Reform? Reform. So you want to take what they have and restructure it under their domination? What you need to do is think clearly. I don't know of someone that is a true elder that will agree to that. I don't know that. Okay? Because elder is a position of honor. Being old doesn't give you the position of elder. You could have the word elder because you're old, but the position, according to our culture of elder, is a position that's earned. You just don't get it. Okay? Just like when you became a man or a woman, you had to go through the rites and rituals of passage to cross over from a child to an adult. So be it as an elder. Just wasn't age dominated. But I'm ranting. These are the points that I wanted to make. Your children are precious. Treat them as such. Educate them as such. Educate them as if your life and your future depended on it, because it actually does. Give them the tools, the necessary tools that they need to represent everyone in the future. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I often enjoy your comments and look forward to responding to you. Peace and love, fam.